Hey guys, another knitting project coming your way. One of my favorite knitting projects of all time. I'm going to knit a pair of socks. A couple of years ago, I started making our socks. We both absolutely love them, have worn them threadbare. See example one, patch, patch, patch. And so it's time for some new socks, but my socks are in much better shape than Mr. Saxon's. Brian needs a new pair of socks. So at the Yarn and Fiber Festival here last year in the summer, I bought this yarn. It's from the Purple Owl, and it is called Paradise Rain. So I'm going to wind this up, and I will show you the pattern that I use. So I knit the, this is so well used. I knit the sock pattern, Basic Socks by Winwick Mum. I'll post the link below, but they are some of the nicest socks, the best sock pattern that I've ever knit. And I won't stray from it because I like it so much. They're comfortable, they fit perfectly, all the good things. So let's get this sucker wound. Beauty. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about one of my ultimate goals. So I've been knitting now for about 22 years, and I would still say I'm not an advanced knitter, but I do. Just let the dogs in, and Tulip's having a big drink. She's thirsty. Okay, so one of my goals since I've been a knitter, and especially in the last 5 years, is to knit more of our own clothes. And no, like I'm not talking underwear or anything like that, but definitely in the winter time, I like to say I like to knit accessories, but more and more like winter accessories, so socks, mitts, hats, but more and more I've been trying to knit more sweaters, and I actually really enjoy it. And so ultimately my goal would be to knit most of our outer winter wear, so sweaters, socks, and I already knit a lot of our socks, but sweaters in particular. But the problem is I just don't have a lot of time to knit, and it does take a long time to knit stuff, especially when you only pick it up for a couple of minutes or maybe hours on a weekend. But it is one of my goals, and I just wanted to, it's something I hope to do more of, you know, especially when I retire, which is a long way off, but still I long for those days where I can sit for hours and knit. Right now I'm not there. We have too much going on and too many other things to do. But this is the stuff that brings me so much joy. Like knitting brings me so much joy, especially when I'm giving the projects away to other people. Most of the things that I knit, I actually do give away. The bread maker. Bread's ready. Come on over. I'll show you what I made. So Brian and I have been on, well, since I bought a bread maker, I've obviously been making my own bread. But one of my favorite breads of all time, really? Tilly, get your toy, is cinnamon raisin bread. And I found a recipe, YouTubers, I'm telling you, I don't even know how you guys do this stuff. Okay, so one of my favorite recipes that I found just recently from the internet, I will post it here below, is raisin cinnamon bread. Look at that. So I've been baking a loaf of raisin cinnamon bread every week now, for school and for breakfast. Look at that. And I think a lot of people probably think like, oh, why don't you make it from scratch? I don't got that kind of time. Quiet, Missy. Okay, I gotta throw a toy, hang on. But I do have time to throw ingredients in the bread maker, push a couple buttons and let it go. So if you are looking to start making your own bread, I say 100% go for it. It is so awesome. But get a bread maker. Like, you don't have to make it by hand. I know I would love to be that homesteader person who has all the time to knead and wait and have sourdough. I just don't. But this is a really great option to having homemade. Like, if you guys can smell this, when smell-o-vision becomes a thing, it's gonna be game changing. It smells so good. Like, look at that, it's beautiful. All the ingredients, I know where they came from. I don't know, there might be 5 or 6 ingredients. But yeah, get yourself a bread maker. I have a Black & Decker all-in-one. I bought it on sale at Canadian Tire last year for like $100. And it has definitely baked enough loaves now to have paid for itself. But yeah, I'm all over the map today with this video. And actually, you're not even gonna see it until I'm done the socks. So I'll bring you along as I knit those socks out and Brian gets his gift. And I know you're supposed to wait, it says 20 minutes before you cut into the loaf. I say, no thanks. I'm gonna cut into her fresh and show you. Watch the heat. Okay, let's try no butter. It's so good. Look at the steam. You see it? The dogs are going bonkers today. I feel bad for everybody who's gluten intolerant. I really do feel bad because this is so good. It's gonna fuel me for my Sugar Shack work. Oh, so good. Buy a bread maker and bake raisin cinnamon raisin bread, whatever it's called, and as toast with peanut butter. So good. Hey everybody. I have been working away over the holiday on a couple of projects. I knit a bunch of washcloths. They're my favorite, those cotton washcloths for family. And today, my goal was to finish Brian's socks before school starts back up, which is tomorrow. And so I actually darned 3 pairs of socks that we've kind of worn through over the years this morning. And I'm just putting the finishing touches on this pair of socks that I made for Brian. My favorite sock pattern, if I haven't mentioned it before, is Winwick Mom's basic sock pattern. I find it to be the easiest. It's knit top down or cuff down, and it closes at the toe with Kitchener stitch, which I'll link down below. I've linked it in previous videos, but just in case you want to try knitting socks. I find sock knitting to be so rewarding because you wear them every day. Like, especially in the colder months, socks are mandatory, and I like to knit with stock yarn or a wool blend. And so let me just show you the socks that I have on. This is one of my favorite things to do. I don't usually make these for people that I'm gifting a pair of socks to, but whenever you knit socks, you always have leftover yarn. And so I make these, I call them my crazy socks. And I just use leftover bits of yarn to make myself socks that I'm not embarrassed or afraid to wear. They still do the job and keep my feet warm. So I just wanted to show you the finished project. Well, here is one sock here. So in the pattern, the Winwick Mom pattern that I use, the pattern is actually like short socks, but we always wear tall socks, so ones that kind of go up our leg. So I always knit the sock part a little bit longer, but they're really, really nice. They have kind of this reinforced heel, which is a knit slip kind of pattern. It's super easy. All you have to know for this pattern is knit, purl, and slip. And slipping a stitch is literally moving it from one needle to the other. So it's really not that hard. I would say the trickiest part is the Kitchener stitch, which Does take a while to get used to, but the video that I'm linking below by Pearl Soho is phenomenal for learning how to do the Kitchener stitch. And what I know a lot of people have done is write it out. So when they're doing it, you know, they can just follow the written instructions, whatever it takes. These are amazing socks. I can't remember the name of this yarn. I might have included it when I wound the yarn, but I just wanted to bring you along and show you the finished product. So if you've never knit socks before and you're eager to try, use the link below to pick up this pattern. I believe it's free on Ravelry. Really simple project. For me, and I would say I am what would I say? Not a beginner, not a novice, mediocre. I don't know. I've been knitting for a long time, but my skills are still developing. It takes me about 8 to 10 hours to knit one sock. So they definitely are a labor of love, but they're Brian and my favorite socks to wear in the winter time. So think about knitting a pair of socks. Happy knitting if you do try. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.